Welcome to A Cup and a Conversation. In our podcast today, I'm pleased to welcome Debbie Boehmke, Executive Director of the Northern Medina County Chamber Alliance. Hi, Debbie.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good.
So, Debbie, we're just going to go through a little conversation here and kind of get to know a little bit more about Northern Medina County Chamber and what you do and why you do it, and something about membership and programs, and because the organization itself is highly active, isn't it?
Yes, we are a very active chamber for sure.
And how many members do you have approximately?
So we approximately have 320 members.
Okay.
Our membership is through tiers, and right now our largest percentage of membership comes from small businesses that have 1 to 9 employees.
Okay. So what a lot of people don't know about chambers is you could have an employee base of 1 and be a member, and there are fantastic reasons why to be a member of a chamber. And you could also be a member with an organization that has 500.
That's correct.
And there are still wonderful opportunities and benefits to be a member of that chamber for different reasons.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's talk about first the history of the chamber, just in general terms. So, the chamber's been around for a while now, and you're the executive director. How long have you been the executive director?
So I'm in my 3rd year here as the executive director of the chamber.
So you had a couple rough years there with some things going on.
I was hired in August of 20.
Was it 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So right in the midst of
Right,
it all.
right in the midst of COVID, of the height of the pandemic.
That's correct.
And so that required you to kind of pivot, if you will, as to how to hold meetings, because you still held meetings. How'd that work?
Right. So the chamber itself had started Zoom membership meetings before I had come on. And so for the first couple of months, we were having Zoom membership meetings on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still got people to attend, right?
We did. We did. We were, I want to say, anywhere from 35 to 55 people that would attend on a monthly basis on a Zoom. I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Right.
That's pretty good. And people from all different walks of businesses.
Yeah. We have people who own their own insurance agency, to manufacturing companies, to restaurants, to small business, retail in our area.
That's terrific. So the chamber's been around for a while, and it started many years ago.
I think like 1960 something.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's great.
Yes.
And it's gone through obviously different iterations, because it grows, like any organization, it grows and evolves over time. And do you happen to know what number executive director you are now? Like number 3 or 4? I know it's not very many.
No, I don't. I will be honest with you. I knew Melissa very well, who was the executive director while it was
folks who
Brunswick Chamber at that time.
Right.
And she was the one that helped move it to the Alliance.
Right.
And then after Melissa was Maureen.
Yes.
And she was here for a short while. But before Melissa, I'll be honest, I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's all right.
Yeah.
Because really, in many cases, while history is important to a point, you also want to move forward.
Right.
And you've got folks within your board that probably know that history, that can be relied upon if necessary. But the idea is really onward and upward.
Yes.
And to speak to that, you've really done an outstanding job, if I say so. The city is a big supporter of the chamber, and our relationship has certainly evolved over time as well, because we want to partner with a chamber that's active and happy and focused on the community, which you are. And the chamber itself has a pretty good-sized geographic region, because it's an alliance.
That is
it's
right.
not just a small core, it's an alliance. So what is the geographic range? How far away do you have members from?
So we focus on that Northern Medina tier, with a big base coming from Brunswick and Valley City. We also touch upon Hinckley. The Valley City Chamber of Commerce merged. That was part of that alliance. And so we have a big presence in Valley City. We also, we have members in Medina, Strongsville. We have members coming from Seven Hills out to Akron. So chambers have a wide, breadth of area that we have members come from.
Okay, that's terrific. Well, let's focus on the executive director since we've got you here for a few minutes. So, what were you doing prior to being executive director?
So my background is nonprofit as well as I was a teacher. I was a teacher at the Medina County Career Center for about 8 years.
Oh, very good.
Many years ago. And I kind of evolved into the nonprofit world. I had been with Big Brothers Big Sisters. I was with the United Way of Medina County,
Okay.
where I ran a program called Employing Medina County for a couple of years. And then right after that, I was with the Medina County Board of DD, where I was the economic developer there. And that was right before I came here to the chamber.
Okay, great. And so how do you think those things have led you here? How did that not just evolve, but how have those skills you've learned over time help you in this role?
So working in the nonprofit world had definitely helped me moving towards this position, as well as being a class member of Leadership Medina County. I have to say that has helped me professionally where I'm at now. The Employing Medina County position I had with United Way, I was responsible for finding employment for people who had barriers. And my main part of that job was to meet with employers.
Okay.
So that's where I really got into the economic portion and met with lots of manufacturers, worked with Dale Fortner over at Sandridge in Medina, and they were big supporters of the program. So I became very comfortable working with people who were in different industries. And then when I went to the Board of Developmental Disabilities, my job there was to help people who had had disabilities find work. And when the position here became available at the chamber, there were a couple of board members who were board members of the United Way at the time, and were also board members at the chamber, who kind of reached out and asked me if I'd be interested.
Oh, great.
And so I've also been involved in many different boards and committees that I just knew a lot of people in the community.
Sure.
And just felt this was just a great evolution in my career.
Sure. But those skills that you got from all the different dialogue with different organizations have really allowed you to interact with all these different members, because it really is a very diverse group of people. Mm-hmm. And in chambers, a lot of people don't recognize the fact that chambers generally aren't run by cities. They are private organizations, and they're funded privately by the membership, correct?
That is right. So we are a nonprofit.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have a board.
Yes.
And you have subcommittees that work on different things.
Many.
And you have membership fees.
That's correct.
And those membership fees help drive the base of the organization. And then there are sponsorships and things like that whether the members or other potential members could offer through your organization to help sponsor a luncheon or help sponsor a program or a case study or something like that. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So, and since you've come on board, how many? Not necessarily how many, but you talked about a good number of membership, and what are some of the programs that you offer through that membership? Because without the membership, you don't have a chamber.
That's right. We have a lot of different programs and events that we host here at the Alliance, but one of them that I'm really proud of, and this is not a money-making event, but during the COVID time, we were really concerned about the small businesses, the restaurants in particular, that were suffering. So we started a program called Chamber Chomps. And what we do, the first Wednesday of every month, we focus on one of the restaurants that are in our membership. And we market it, push it out on social media, and ask our members to come at noon on the first Wednesday at the restaurant of the month. And we gather there, and it's truly just a time for us to sit and have a nice lunch with each other. So that's one of the things we do. And again, that's not, there's nothing profitable coming to the chamber. It's just to help our restaurants. But we also have monthly member luncheons. And the one thing that I really like about our chamber is our monthly luncheons are not held at the same place every month. We here at our chamber we really try to have our member luncheons at different places in our community. So Comfort Inn Suites, the Brunswick Rec Center, Amy's Event Center in Valley City. So every month we change our places. And then if that place doesn't offer, they don't have a restaurant to provide the lunch, we make sure that we cater it to have it catered from one of our restaurants in the area. We also have Lunch and Learns, which is at Brunswick University Center. We have 4 of them a year. That's an educational series. We have a great partnership with the University Center. They are one of our chamber champions, which is wonderful. After hours socials, we try to do one a year with the Park District, where we take a tour of one of the parks. We have our annual theme-based golf outing and theme-based clam bake, which again is very unusual for a chamber. This is definitely a fundraiser, signature event for a chamber. We just had our clam bake at Bunker Hill. Last June we had our golf outing, which was at Bunker Hill, and that was an 80s theme. We always have our clam bake at Bunker Hill, but our golf outings, we try to have it at different golf courses in the area. Our probably most well-known event in Brunswick is Business at the Barn, which is held at Mapleside once a year. That is in August, and that is our largest networking event, business-to-business networking event that is held there. I think it's the 3rd Wednesday in August. That's a great time where we have businesses just networking amongst each other, but we also open it up the last 90 minutes of the day to the public. We have at least 10 restaurants that will provide small plates of food for people to sample. We do ribbon cuttings with the city. We've been doing a lot of those. We have one actually later today, which I'm really excited about. So there's lots of things that we have going on with our chamber.
That's great, but one of the things that, dare I say, you missed out on mentioning is all the fun. So it's not just business, because
Right.
there's a lot of networking. That's
Yes.
one of the benefits of being a member of a chamber, is you're networking and hopefully doing business amongst each other. But you have a lot of fun at the same time.
We do. The golf outing and the clam bake in particular, there's really no agenda. It is a social event that is open to public as well. And like I said, this year it was a Halloween theme. And something you mentioned before was that the chamber, we have a board of directors. And then we also have committees. Most of these events that I just spoke to you about are clearly run by the committees, and these committees are a group of member volunteers. And this chamber could not do all of the great events that we do, fun events that we do, without the strong board of directors that I have and the strong committees that we have. Right from the very beginning when I started, I was very, very impressed by the buy-in everybody has and the sense of ownership that the board of directors have and the committees have for this chamber.
Well, that's great. I mean, it really is its own community, if you will.
We are,
And-
absolutely.
And you're welcome to join the community. I mean, it's a very welcoming and open chamber. I mean, that's what I see from our chamber, is that there's not only fun and activity, there's a lot of purpose behind it because you also have chamber charities.
We
and
do.
You do a great program with that. Tell us about that program.
So Medina County Chamber Charities is now its own nonprofit, but it is connected still with our chamber, and they provide scholarships for students in our local high schools in the county. It's not just the northern Medina County, it's the whole county, as well as non-traditional students as well. And I love that. I love the fact that they'll provide a scholarship to a person who has been out of high school for a number of years and now has decided to go back to college or go to a trade school to look for a career. And they do this this scholarship by having a yearly event called the Amazing Race, which is a signature event for the Chamber Charities, and it is Huntington Banks, their signature sponsor. And it's exactly like that TV show, The Amazing Race. It's a team of 4, and you get clues to around the county, and you are going to places that you get hints, and you go to the place that you find.
So it's like a scavenger hunt.
It is very good. It's a scavenger hunt, and then once you get to that spot, you have a challenge, and it's either an individual challenge or a group challenge. I've participated 2 years in a row, and I'm telling you, it is the most fun. And I pride myself in knowing the county, and there have been many stops that I did not know we had in the county. So
Well,
it's
that's
great.
good. That's a
Yeah.
discovery process
Yes,
then.
yes. And one thing I want to say that you mentioned about us being a fun chamber, we are absolutely a fun chamber. But when we have a new member come in, we make sure that our ambassadors committee or a board member, when they first come to their first luncheon or their first activity with the chamber, we make sure that we have somebody welcome them and make sure that they feel that welcoming atmosphere that we have. And I always say to any new member as well as an existing member, I feel that one of my greatest attributes is I love connecting people. That is one of the things that I love the most. So if somebody comes to me and said that I'm looking for tires, or I'm looking for a storage unit, or I'm looking for an insurance agent, I love making that connection. And I feel that our board is the same way, as well as our committees.
Oh, that's great. So we had talked a few minutes ago about that the fact that there are monthly member programs or lunches, and so during those lunches, from my experience anyway, you generally have a speaker come in and you have a program during that lunch, right?
We do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that have been done or discussed during that time?
So last year, when I say last year, year 22, so the year we're in right now, we definitely focused on business spotlights of local businesses who have been successful. So almost a family business success story. So MDG Flooring was focused on this year. Goosefoot Acres Home of Dandy Blend, Transitional Living Centers out in Valley City, they were focused this past year. We also have economic development, what's going on in our community. So you, Grant, come along with Kathy Brighton Butcher from the MCEDC, who speaks about what's happening in the local city, the county, and we also do the townships. We always have the school superintendents come and speak about what's going on in schools. And actually this October, our luncheon is going to be at the Center Cafe at the Medina County Career Center. And we will be having Highland Schools, the Career Center, Buckeye Schools, and Brunswick City School superintendents there. And they'll be talking to the schools.
Well, that's fantastic. That sounds great. And then you also had mentioned that the Chamber does a tour of at least one park a year.
We do.
And who do you get to lead that tour?
So the park director, the Medina County Park District, Nate, comes out and he actually will lead the tour. He'll talk to us about how this area of the park was developed, and we go from there. That's a lot of fun.
It appears. I wish I was able to. Sometimes my duties in the city take me away. However, I think this year it was right here in the 44212 zip code at Princess Ledges.
Yes, what an amazing trail. I can't believe that it's in the city of Brunswick. It looks like it should be out in Hinckley.
Yeah.
But it was gorgeous.
Yeah, we're very fortunate. Brunswick has a lot to offer from not just the natural beauty, but all the business growth and activity from the chamber and whatnot. So we're very fortunate. So Debbie, what aren't we asking you about the chamber? What do we need to know about the chamber that folks may not be aware of or not know?
Well, one thing I didn't mention, and my connections group chair people would be very upset with me. We have 4 networking groups in our chamber, and that's amazing. So we have 2 in Brunswick, 2 in Valley City, different times of the month, different places in the area. And these are networking groups that are absolutely fabulous. And that brings me to one of the things our chamber really likes to focus on is our networking amongst businesses. That's what it's all about, right? Is we want to bring business to business networking, business to business, actual business to them. But we also focus on our nonprofits. And so any of our big events that we have and a couple of our membership luncheons a year, we always focus on a nonprofit, and we do some kind of drive, or during our golf outing or a clam bake, our 50-50 raffles will always go to a nonprofit. Our board also likes volunteering their time. We just last year we volunteered at Feeding Medina County one afternoon and helped them distribute the bags of groceries to the distribution site we have right here in Brunswick. So that's one thing about our chamber is we really try to help the community. We have some really fun things coming up in 23 though too. We're bringing back in November our Veterans Luncheon. We had done that my first year here. We will be doing it in November. It'll be at the rec center like it was before. We've decided to alternate November in giving back. So we're saying thank you to our veterans in 23 like we did in 21. In 22, which is in November, we're doing a nonprofit showcase. And we'll be doing that again in 24. Also, one thing I'm really excited about, we are doing a mini business at the barn at our member luncheon. It is going to highlight our new businesses. So any business that has come to our chamber and is under 24 months old, we are doing a showcase.
Oh, very nice.
And so every business will be able to get a table as long as they're a member of the chamber. And that's what our membership luncheon is going to be for in 23. So there's some exciting things.
Wow, lots of activity.
Yeah.
So how do you get members? How do people find out about membership for you?
I would say that comes from members.
Okay, so word of mouth.
Word of mouth. And I would like to say that I get out and I solicit new members. But I don't. It's not as much. I should be, but we are so busy at the chamber doing all the things that we do. I am so fortunate for, again, and I say this all the time, but my members and our board and our committees, they just recommend, it's referrals, and that's how new members come in. But
that wouldn't happen if you weren't doing these things.
I suppose so. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's word of mouth and referrals, but I'm guessing you've got a website. And what is that website?
We do. It's www.nmccalliance.com.
Okay.
We also have a Facebook page. We also have LinkedIn.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. And folks can go on there and find out a little bit more and
Sure.
when events are. And maybe if somebody wants to test out a meeting or something like that, they could contact the office or yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
And we get lots of phone calls from just the general public. So we had somebody come in last week who's moving to Brunswick, and she wanted to, she asked for referrals for real estate agents. She asked for referrals for mortgage companies. So we also
That's a smart person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. What a great opportunity for those businesses to not only show what they can do, but look at what Brunswick is.
Yep.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So now we've gotten to the point where we do a few just random questions and random statements, and interested in your replies.
Okay.
So no right answer, no wrong answer, just an answer. So best donut you've ever had?
Donut Land.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Which, let me just say, Donut Land is not a member. So if Donut Land is listening, I would love for them to become members.
Wouldn't we all? But they are open 24/7.
They are, and they make awesome donuts.
Awesome donuts.
Yeah.
So if you were standing in line and people just generally maybe they want to complain, maybe they want to talk, hey, how's the weather? What's one piece of advice you would want to give a stranger?
Be kind.
Excellent. What about favorite pizza?
Samansky's in Valley
City. There you go. So how do you measure success? Personally, professionally, how do you measure that?
I think being happy with yourself. I don't think it's how many friends you have. It's the quality of friends that you have in your family life, that you're happy with everything. I don't think that money is success. I think happiness and just being content with who you are.
That's great. What a fantastic thought. So, what would you like to see happen for Northern Medina County Chamber Alliance?
Of course, I think you're expecting me to say, I hope we grow. And I would say, yes, that would, obviously, I hope that it grows. But I hope that the members who are members stay. I want consistency. So I don't want, somebody to join and then, leave in a couple of years. I want us to have a strong base. I want to see businesses referring other businesses in the chamber to each other.
So, in the economic world, we call that the multiplier effect. So you have, and it's not complicated to understand, essentially you keep $1 here close to home, and it continually multiplies time over time over time, because people are spending that $1 at the gas station, spending the $1 on something within that community, employing other people that live in the community or work in the community, and they spend it, and it gets spent multiple times, which grows in economic strength. So that's what I'm hearing you say.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay, terrific. What's your favorite holiday movie?
Christmas Story.
Christmas Story.
Absolutely.
Very good. And if you could have coffee with any historical person, who would you want to do?
So 2 people.
Okay.
Okay, historical. Are you
Okay.
okay? Can I say like pulp culture, and you know
Sure.
who I'm going to say?
Sure.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
So the funny one is Donny Osmond.
Donny
Absolutely.
Osmond.
Yes, Donny Osmond. I know.
The big D.O.
The big D.O. who has a big show in Las Vegas right now. Yeah. So absolutely, hands down, he would be the first person. The second person would be the last Tsar of Russia. Absolutely.
Wow. I'm not expecting that one.
Yeah. I want to know why he was so influenced by his wife and let the monarchy crush like it did. So, absolutely.
That is a very deep discussion that we'll have to have another time.
Yeah.
I am totally fascinated by that.
My minor in college was Russian history.
Really?
So, yeah, so that probably, yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Yep.
And where did you go to college?
So, Baldwin Wallace.
Baldwin Wallace.
Yeah.
BW.
Yep, I started out at Tri-C. I want to say that. I got my 2-year degree, very, very smart move.
Yes.
At Parma.
Tri-C is a phenomenal operation.
I loved
It's
it.
just a phenomenal facility.
Loved it. I went to the Parma, obviously, campus, and then transferred to BW. Yeah.
Very nice. So if you had the ability to have coffee with, let's say, Donnie, as those of us that would like to call him by his first name,
Yes.
what would you ask him?
Will you marry me? I know, that's silly. I don't know
Well,
why.
your husband might have a challenge
well,
with
my
that.
husband's okay with it. We have an agreement.
Okay.
He's okay with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably couldn't talk to him because I've had the opportunity to actually talk to him in the past, and I couldn't.
So you get tongue-tied around it.
I would be very tongue-tied.
And this has gone on for years?
I don't want to give away my age, but I was 5 years old when I was first introduced to him on the shag carpeting of my aunt's bedroom floor. First
While he was
album.
on TV?
Well,
or-
no, it was an album record.
It was an album.
She had been playing, and I was 5 years old. Yeah, remember the exact moment.
That's phenomenal. That really is phenomenal. So if you won $10 million tomorrow, what would you spend it on?
Well, I give money to my children, of course, make sure that they were well. I would probably give a good portion of it to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Would be probably my number one choice of a nonprofit. Not all of it. I want to make sure my family's taken care of course, and my friends. But I would definitely donate money to an organization that takes care of children, for sure.
What's a common myth about your job?
Well, my husband thinks that it's all fun and games, for sure. Like, well, you're just going to clam bakes. You're just doing golf outings. I'm doing this and this. It sounds like you went to another luncheon. I don't think he understands that. Yes, but there's a lot of work that goes into it, and that you're always on. You're always,
That's a
when
good
you're
way
in
to put
groups
it.
of people, you need to be on your best behavior. And sometimes that's mentally draining.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure. So when you have an event, there's a lot of prep work.
There is.
And then there's a lot of cleanup work.
There is.
And it's just not the physical aspects of it. There's the actual paperwork
Yes.
and potential contracts to sign with that event center that you may be holding something at.
Yeah.
And then the food vendors and everything else, and you're just like everybody else, probably negotiating some prices so that
Correct.
you get the best bang for your buck.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and that's myself, and it's my office manager. We are a quote full and part time. So I don't know what I would do without our office manager, hands down.
Wonderful. What are you most passionate about?
Helping people. In this particular position, again, it's just the connecting, making sure that people get the best business they can. But I'm truly all about helping people who have barriers in their life. That's what I'm passionate about. I love our juvenile detention center here in the county. I sit on one of their councils that they have. I'm very passionate about helping people succeed.
That's a phenomenal objective in life. It really is. What's your favorite ice cream?
Chocolate peanut butter.
Chocolate peanut butter.
Yes.
Why?
I love chocolate and I love peanut butter.
So you put the two together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Favorite color?
Purple. Donny
Purple.
Osmond.
Donny Osmond. It all circles back to that, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay. Wow. What an influence that record album had. And yes, they were record albums, folks.
Yes.
Yes. Wonderful. So we've come to one last question, which is, probably not one last, but one of the last couple. What's your favorite vacation spot?
Well, right now it's Florida. My husband and I have gone 3 times in the last 18 months. So We didn't vacation when my kids were little, I'll be honest. We did a Florida, a Williamsburg, but we didn't like fly every single year. We did a lot of things around the home.
Sure.
My boys were very involved in sports. So right now we're taking advantage of being empty nesters. So right now, Florida.
Florida, fantastic. So Debbie, what's the one last piece of advice or discussion or last bit of words you'd like to share with our listeners about the Northern Medina County Chamber Alliance?
I think that our chamber is a very welcoming chamber. And when I say that, is for whoever's listening, if you are a business and you're considering joining, please just call me, text, email me, and I would love to have coffee with you. Coffee at the Tangled Vine in Brunswick, Tuesday through Friday. I'd love to go there. I would love to do that, or the Cracked Egg. And then in Valley City, Coffee in the Valley. I love to meet anyone. And if you are just someone in the public and you're looking for a car dealership or an automotive place to go to or an insurance company or whatever that is, and you need a reference, don't hesitate to call us. We will let you know who we feel would be the best place to go to. So we're very open, and I want people to know that it's not just me, the executive director. It is the board of directors and the committee chairs.
Well, that's great. Well, we've come to that time in our discussion point where we must conclude, and I want to thank Debbie Boehmke, Executive Director for the Northern Medina County Chamber Alliance, and for her time and efforts sharing with us all about the Northern Medina County Chamber Alliance and how they interact with the community and the businesses and the stakeholders within our community and beyond. Debbie, thank you so much for coming, and we wish you nothing but much success.
Thanks, Grant. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.